Good evening, lovely spirits. It's the humble servant speaking, the wise one, Mr. Solace. Today I want to do this video called The Poor Man's Psychology. And it's a deep thing I need y'all to grasp. Because the poor man is better off than the rich man. The poor man has a better life than the rich man. And it's a deep thing y'all have to grasp. See, a rich man is occupied with his work around the clock. So the way the system is set up that we live in, the more you work, the more riches you'll have. So it's a deep thing you have to grasp. Rich men have a lot of stress and strain because they have to always appear to be rich, or the rich won't accept them. So it's an acceptance thing. Everyone wants to be accepted by their kind. So rich men have to have the best things. They have to be in the most expensive places. They have to have the best or the most expensive lifestyle. And this is straining. It doesn't matter how much money you have. This is a strain because you work to get money. So you have to work hard. This is why rappers and entertainers and most rich people have to work around the clock. Those who work. The rapper works for the company. So you have to grasp. It's a deep thing. Now, when a poor man has rich man's stress, meaning when the poor man decides he wants to be rich, he takes on the stress and strain of a rich man. And now the little that he has becomes a problem. Grasp. Him being poor becomes a problem now to him. So now he has two problems. He has whatever problems poor men have. If they're completely ignorant to being rich, he has whatever problems they have, which would be minute because they don't know anything about the rich. So it's a deep thing. And on top of that, he has the stress and strain of the rich man because now he has thoughts like the rich man and he has to appear like the rich man even though he's poor. So this is even harder on him because this is hard on the rich entertainers that we see. You see them struggling to stay afloat and keep up with the rich appearance. So just imagine how much of a stress and strain it is for someone who's poor. And it's a deep thing you have to grasp. This is the poor man's psychology. His life is fine until the moment he decides, hey, I want to be rich. Then he takes on the rich man's stress. Now being poor is a problem. Just being poor is a problem. What he has is not good enough now. If he's going to be amongst the rich, it's the thoughts. So this is a problem. Every aspect of his life becomes a problem, and this becomes a complete stress and strain for the poor man because he has to always appear to be rich or appear to be grinding to be rich. So he's always giving off a facade that he has more than he has. And that comes with a lot of stress and strain. See, there was a point in time where a poor man could be in comfort amongst his peers. But now a poor man has to pretend he's rich amongst the poor. So the poor man never gets a break from having to pretend he's rich. And it's a deep psychology you have to grasp. It's a deep strain on a person's spirit you have to grasp. It's so deep. A lot of people have to pretend to their own family that they're doing what we would call well financially. They have to pretend that they're doing better than they are to their own family. Because the way we live, if you're not making money or you don't have a lot of money, you ain't really shit. So it's a deep thing you have to grasp. The poor man wants Once he decides he wants to be rich, he inherited all of the rich man's stress and strain. Mind you, he adds his own already. And it's a deep thing you have to grasp. See, we tend to think the rich man's life is better because that's how it is, being as though we live in a system. But to a person who's never lived in a system and they're completely ignorant to that way of life, they don't understand the concept of poor and rich. Therefore, their life is kind of stress and strain free. There's no competing, there's only working together. So it's a deep thing you have to grasp. But in this system, it's a whole different thing. See, you'll have a rich rapper or a rich entertainer say their life is great because they don't have to wake up and clock into a boss. They can pretty much do what they want. They're their own boss. But if you look closely, you know this is not true. See, the rapper or entertainer, they may not have to wake up early, but they have to go to be at that club that night if they want to get that check. So you have to grasp. They have to be here. They have to be there. They have to pretty much do what they're told. Don't say this. Say this. If they make a statement and it may be detrimental to their career, then you have somebody over their ear like, you better take that back. So a famous rich rapper or entertainer, they don't even have control over their self. They get all the money and things that they get, and they make it seem good by saying, oh, I don't have to wake up early and clock in. I could do what I want, so the lifestyle is better. But it's not true when they say that, because they have to be at that club tonight to make good on that deal. They was going to perform there. Rappers get half the money up front. So if they don't show up to an event, they'll get sued. It's a problem. So they have to be where they have to be. And it's a deep thing you have to grasp. The rapper is working for the company. And the company works the rapper like a rent mule. Rappers have to be here, there. Go to this state, go to that state, go to this state. Promote your album. So they all over the place being pulled and pushed everywhere. But it seems great to us after it's edited up and put on TV, then the life looks beautiful. You don't see the part where the rapper is renting the jewelry in the car. You only see them in it. So it's like, yeah, I gotta get that. You don't see the behind the scenes stresses and strain that the rich have to truly go through to make y'all think that they are rich. Because half the rich truly ain't rich. Rich is a matter of perspective. It never ends. So 50 Cent is rich to us. But around Oprah and her billionaire friends, 50 Cent is poor. And he feels the same way you feel when you're around him, when he's around them. So poor is a matter of perspective. It's a matter of how much you have. This never ends. Enough is never enough for a poor man. This is why you see the rich still working hard. Because being rich is the same as being poor. A poor man is struggling to pay his bills, and the rich are struggling to pay their bills because their bills go with their income. Just like a poor man's bills go with his income. He may not be able to indulge into as much as they do, but in this is a good thing because their spirits are completely sold. They done gave up every aspect of their morals and principles that they had to get where they are. I don't care who they are. If you see a rich man, then you know that man worked and he was told what to do and pulled left and pushed right and to get to that status. So it's a deep thing you have to grasp. The life of the rich is not as great as y'all think. It's just a matter of the system. People's minds have been brainwashed into the system way of perception. So within the system, being rich is the goal. But if you remove the system and status and all that foolishness, and people grasp that the earth provides everything that you see. Men just take hold of certain things and they sell it to the rest, but everything is truly provided free by the life. Even the land that you live on. I know the land that you live on is owned by somebody else, but they just did that on their own. Nobody told them you can own Manhattan. You can own Brooklyn. Nobody told nobody that. People just did this a long time ago when they came to this land and took it. So it's a simple thing you have to grasp. Poor people used to live in their community amongst each other, and no one judged or viewed anyone else because they all knew they were poor, but this was alright because they were rich in people. And this is the most important resource in the life. Your fellow people. If they're good in spirit, it's all good. And this is why poor people always looked happy in the past time. Rich people never looked happy. Think about it. They never looked happy. They still don't. But poor people always looked happy. Little dirty poor kids running around playing, completely oblivious to being poor. You have the older poor people sitting around singing and dancing in rags, but they was oblivious to being poor. They was just living. It was a beautiful thing. And once the mind is conditioned into the system and the rich way of life is seen with all the foolishness, the poor man adopts the rich man's stress and strain onto himself. And that's the last thing he needs. Because he's already being robbed of the resources that the life provides for everybody. He's already being robbed of that by the rich. Those who said, no, I own this, and everybody else has to work and buy and sell to have what's already freely theirs. So it's a deep thing y'all have to grasp. The poor man's psychology is so deep. The rich man's psychology is even worse, but the poor man's psychology is deep because we add a lot of stress and strain to ourselves. If you go to the poor neighborhoods right now, the ghettos, the projects, you see the black people in there all pretending like they're richer than the next person they're standing next to, and they're all in the same place. And it's a deep psychology you have to grasp. Because at one point, them people were all children and they all played together and nobody looked or viewed or judged the next kid. They all knew they were poor. It was alright. Nobody cared. If we all poor, then who cares? You can play amongst each other and it's all good. Then the kids get older, they become adults. And then they have to stunt in front on one another. Mind you, they all live in the same poor place. So they're poor. It's a deep thing you have to grasp. Stress and strains of the rich man keeps the poor man in the poor conditions he's in. Because he's pulling to have the things the rich man has. And it keeps him in the place he's in. It's a deep thing you have to grasp. Now, I'm not telling people to be broke or anything like that. So if you're poor, I don't want you to get confused and think anything out of the whack. The thing is this. I'm just trying to give y'all a little hope and prosperity because there's way more poor people, even though no one views themselves as poor in this day and time. You'll have the raggediest bum telling you how rich he is, and you're like, I know this nigga's a bum. What is he talking about? So, but in this day and time, poor man gets no comfort anywhere. Beats himself up with the psychology of wanting to be rich. And it's a deep thing you have to grasp. Had a poor man been cool with being poor, all would be well for him. It's a deep thing. Shemaine Mansalas, the humble servant. Oh, I'm sorry. before I go, I want to do this quick little piece on love. Now, I don't want to waste the whole video on this because it's not that important to me. Not saying love is not that important to me, but the contents of this video is not that important to me. But I just want to run something by y'all mind, because a lot of people are not aware of the word love. We see the word love, and that word has its meaning. But in the ancient past, there wasn't one kind of love. There was like 8 different kinds of loves, and they all had their own name. So today times we have love, and this represents all of it, meaning the love you have for a family member is not the same kind of love you have for a spouse or a wife. It's 2 different kinds of loves. You have obsessed or obsession love. This is when a person completely lost their mind in love. This is not the same as the other 2. You have admiration love. You know how people feel towards famous people that they don't even know, never even met, but they love them. They cry when they see Michael Jackson. So you have different kinds of love, and they're not the same as one another. But what we do in today's times is we take all of those loves and we bundle them up and put them under one word. In the ancient times, they didn't do this. Each aspect of love, meaning the love you have for your family, that had a name. The love you had for a wife or a spouse, that had its own name. Obsessed love, that had its own name. Admiration, that love had its own name. So it's a deep thing. In ancient times, they understood better love in depth. See, in today's times, if a person says, I love you, you wouldn't know who they were talking to if you couldn't see. You wouldn't know if they was talking to a family member, a spouse, if they were just obsessed, or they had admiration for a person and they never even seen them. You wouldn't know the difference. But in the ancient past, you would have, because the word would have been different. They went more in depth. They had a better understanding of the life in depth. They had more vocabulary than we have now. This is why a lot of things that we view in the ancient past get scrambled and jumbled up. Like in ancient Greek, you have like, I forgot the names, but you have like Athena. Let's say Athena would have been a god of love. And then you have Adonis. He's a god of love too. And when you read in the Greek literature, you're like, damn, it was a lot of gods of the same things. It's a lot of gods of love. And this is because each god, that was the name of the actual love emotion, whether it be the familiar. So Adonis might have been representing spouse love. Athena might have been representing the love for family. So this is why you had so many different gods of love and so many different gods of war and so many different gods of the sea. This is why. Because they represented love in depth, and they were the actual name, and they looked at all of these emotions of like love and hate and lie. They looked at these words as actual physical beings and entities, and this is why they were given names like that, because they understood the spoken word. Whatever you speak comes into existence. The word is nothing more than the representation of the thoughts. So you'll never know what a person is thinking until they manifest their thought by word. So this is how you get to see what's in a person's mind when they speak. And then when they speak, it's spread out through all the other physical things it comes in contact with. And this sparks their thoughts, and then action is put together and the physical thing that was spoken is made. So it's a process. Thought, word, then the actual physical. I say that because all physical things are a result of thought or the word, because the word and thought is the same thing. So you have to grasp all physical things are a result of the unseen. So it's a deep thing. When they were naming things like love, and they were giving them, they were personifying them, it was for a reason, because they understood these words to be actual living beings. All things can't be seen, but you know they're real when they affect the physical life. So a lie is a real living being. And we call it Satan, Shaitan, many different names. But a lie is a real physical being. And people get killed over lies. So you know lie is real because it causes real effect to the physical things in the life. Just like fear. You can't physically see fear, but you can feel it. It controls people in this physical life. It has effect in the physical. So it was viewed in the ancient past as a being or entity. And they broke down love, every aspect. So it's a deep thing. We tend to take a lot of the things that the ancients had and we bunch it together and give it one name. And in that we lose out on so much. Because a person who's obsessed in love with somebody is not the same obsessed that we have now. So if you've seen the movie Obsession with Beyonce, that is not truly obsessed love. That is more like stalking, different kind of love than truly obsessed. Obsessed would be like when a woman's in love and she has a nice job and then she falls in love and she just completely gets lost in love and she begins, everything else around her begins to crumble. She don't have no friends, no nothing no more because she's just lost into whoever she's in love with. That's obsessed. When you start trying to hurt people, when you crazy, that's past obsessed. You start getting into the stalky, scary stages of love. See, life is a circle. And all aspects of everything is 360 degrees. So you figure if hate is here and love is here, this is hate, this is love. Well, obsessed would be right about there. So you have to grasp. It's a thin line between the two. But they understood every aspect of it. So the way we view love now is just one thing. How you love your kids, that goes into the same category as how you love your wife, your spouse, your family. If a person admires a famous person that they never met, y'all love Jesus. But this is not the same love that you have for your family. This is a different kind of love. This is an admiration love because you never physically actually seen Jesus. But it's so deep because the admiration love is stronger than the familiar love or the family love. Because y'all are damn near cut your own family off if they say something about Jesus. So you gotta see how deep it is. They understood every aspect of love in the ancient past. And this is probably because they had more vocabulary and more understanding of the life than we do now. In BC times, they were far more advanced than we are now. And people have to just begin to realize this. When you're dealing with BC times, the closer you are to AD, men were lost. But when you go deep back into BC times, like 4000 BC, they were far more advanced than we are now. Maybe 2,000 years more advanced than we are now. Because that's how time is. It's like a window almost. 2000 AD is like 2000 BC. 1000 AD, what we was doing in 1000 AD, same place they was at in 1000 BC. So it's like a window effect. Grasp. You can go back and research. In 1000 AD, where they was technologically, advance-wise, they were in the same place in 1000 AD as they were in 1000 BC. 2000 AD, we technologically advanced as much as they were in 2000 BC. So it's not that much of a difference. It's like a window. It's a deep thing you have to grasp. We haven't got to 4000 AD yet, so this is why. But it's your main man, the humble wise one.